What a game, what a day. And welcome to the NFL on CBS from Giant Stadium, Miami and New York. Dolphins win the division with a victory here. Jets need a win and help down in Baltimore. They need Jacksonville. Here's Brett Favre addressing his teammates.
All right, fellas, we know what we got to do. Let's just play our game, whatever that is. Get back to what we were doing. We won 5 in a row. Hey, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But all you can do is give your best, all right? Love you guys. Let's go score on 3. 1, 2, 3. Sure. Let's get
A lot of love there for the Jets. Brett Favre. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz along with Phil Simms. So much at stake here today, partner. And what will happen? Will Miami win the division? Will the Jets keep their hopes alive?
Well, for the New York Jets, we talked to Eric Mangini on Friday. Can't think of any scenarios except let's win the game and go 10-6, and we'll see where we are when the game is over.
Again, the Jets, for their purposes, they must win, and they need Jacksonville to upset Baltimore. This game brought to you in high definition here on CBS. Then, of course, you got the New England side of things. With the Patriots' victory, they would win the division if the Jets pulled off the win here. It is 56, balmy here on the last Sunday of the year. The Dolphins won the toss and elected to kick it away to the Jets, and it's run back out by Robert Turner to the 35. So, Brett Favre coming out onto the field. Most wins by any quarterback in the history of the league. Most yards, most completions, his 269th consecutive start, and it could be his last. Nick Mangold making the Pro Bowl for the first time. And for that matter, same goes for Thomas Jones, his first Pro Bowl selection after a spectacular season, moving in on 1,300 yards rushing. The Jets, you heard Favre say, let's just get it back to when we were winning 5 in a row. Let's play like that. They've lost 3 of the last 4. They come out throwing with Favre down the field, and it's right off the fingertips of Jericho Cotchery, and Aiken Adele also got a hand on it for Miami.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about this as the day goes along. Adele, that's his job. He does tip it. When there's a play-action pass, one of the inside linebackers immediately turns, looks for the in cut. That's why Adele was there to break up the pass. That's the job of the 3-4 defense. One of the inside linebackers to do just what he did.
They shift Baker on a wing to the right, second down. Coles also shifting to the right side. Dustin Keller, a second tight end, in for New York. Up the middle, they plow ahead with Thomas Jones for 4. This Miami defense under coordinator Paul Pasqualoni going to the 3-4 this year with Vonnie Holiday up front, 11 years of experience. What a season for Joey Porter. 17.5 sacks, top sack man in the AFC. And Will Allen, he's a go here today. He had been questionable all week with a groin. He's starting for the Dolphins, and that defense facing a 3rd and 6 against the Jets right here. Leon Washington comes in for New York. Chancey Stuckey as well. Oh, looked like Miami may have forced in the end Alan Faneca to jump.
Well, was Miami in the neutral zone?
Neutral zone infraction. Number 97 defense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
You got it, Phil. Bill Levy will step off 5 yards, setting up 3rd and 1.
Here it is. Watch the Miami Dolphins as they jump, and because they cross the line of scrimmage, that makes a Jet player move. I can't tell you the exact year when they changed this rule to give the offense, well, to give them a better chance so guys wouldn't fake that move jumping off sides and make the offensive player move.
Tony Sperano directing this turnaround for the Dolphins from 1-15 to 1 game away now from winning the division in his first year. They go shotgun and wide. Just needing a long yard for the first. Favre has a target at the 50, gets the first down. That's Leon Washington advancing it into Miami territory, gain of 9.
Well, Tony Sperano told us last night, hey, this Leon Washington, we got to make sure at all times we keep our eyes on him when he's in the game. And Jim, we saw it on the opening kickoff. They kicked it short and high to keep it away from Leon Washington.
Yeah, they tried to stay away from him. Leader in the league this year in total yards, Leon Washington, who remains in the backfield on first down and gets the handle off right tackle, and a flag thrown in as he advanced it to the 42, picked up about 4.
Holding, number 95 defense. 5-yard penalty enforced from the end of the run, automatic first down.
Jason Ferguson, the former Cowboy, picked up in a trade in the offseason. Flagged for that one. How about a little Phil Simms philosophy?
Well, how about it? Let's talk about this Jets offense. They want to throw the football more down the field today. In front of the corners and behind the linebackers, we saw it in the first play, the Miami defense, he holds the ball. Of course, that is Brett Favre. They think he's always trying to make a play, never gives up. That allows you to sack him, hit him, cause fumbles, and make him throw off target for interceptions.
Now inside the Dolphins 40. It's far from the pocket. Launching it long and over the head of Coles. Well, last week there was an issue of underthrowing his targets. This time had a lot of zip behind that one and over the head of an open Coles who had to step on his defender.
Well, it's a good warm day, so quarterbacks, and it's like the wind shifted. I thought the Jets were going into the wind, but right now the flags have gone the opposite way. And Brett Favre is, as I say, he flushed it. He got every bit of it, and that's why it was about 5 yards too long.
Brad Smith lined up to the right side, 2nd down and 10. Thomas Jones. And that's just going to pick up maybe a yard. Brett Favre, and the talk around here all week, is this going to be his last game? Is there something wrong with his right shoulder based on some recent performances? They've lost 3 of their last 4. He's thrown, well, you see it right here, 4 picks.
Well, there's a lot to say, Jim. Coming to the Jets after the career in Green Bay and his statistics and numbers, the Jets losing streak, it's all going down here the last 4 or 5 weeks. And he's made some throws where he very seldom underthrows deep passes. He's done that in the last 4 weeks, so that's why all the questions arise. And the fact that he even mentioned could be something wrong with his arm.
Well, it's 3rd down and 9. And Favre rifles that one just wide of Dustin Keller. Favre actually having thrown interceptions, 1 touchdown over this 4-game stretch. Well, they got the Jets cheer going on here, but when Pennington came onto the field, it was a warm, respectful round of applause for the former Jet quarterback, who will come out in the shotgun in an empty backfield for their first snap. That's Ronnie Brown dangerously taking it into the end zone and then bringing it out to the 5 for a 1-yard run. Chad Pennington, 8 years with the Jets, then kicked to the curb just 1 month before opening day. What a season. Only one Dan Marino year was higher rated at a quarterback rating than Pennington's numbers this season. And there's Jake Long, his coach, saying last night, just tremendous, the first overall selection. Anthony Fasano, another wise trade in the offense. Ireland Marcells. He's got 6 touchdowns. 2nd down and 9. Quick toss to Bess, and the rookie scoots up to about the 10. Now, the Jets, so much of the focus on what hasn't materialized with their offense the last month, but the defense has started to see people run the football on them. But they've given up 3 100-yard rushing performances individually in this past month. There's David Harris, who missed the middle part of the season. He's in on so many plays. And Revis, in his 2nd year, making the Pro Bowl, one of 7 Jets heading to Hawaii. Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams both in the game, but spread out on 3rd and 3. And that's Williams. Weaving for the first. Boy, he found the open gap and took it for 8. We've got an update. Let's go to James Brown across the way in New York.
Jim and Phil, you know, a Baltimore win clinches a playoff spot for them. A 48-yard pass from Flacco to Mark Clayton was a key play right here. That set up a 32-yard field goal by Matt Stover. Baltimore is on top, 3-0, that in the first. Jim Nance, Phil Simms.
All right, so the Jets and the Patriots watching that game very closely. The Jets again must win and must see Jacksonville up in Baltimore to get the 6th seed, the wild card. Here is Pennington on first down. And Ronnie Brown sidesteps one hit, but not the second. That's Coleman who decks him after 2. Let's get a little philosophy on this side of it, Phil.
Well, I think we're already seeing something from the Miami offense. They want to spread the Jets out. They think that's where we can make the big plays. And the Jets defense, anytime you play the Miami Dolphins, you got to be ready for the Wildcat. And only in this sense, to make sure you line up properly, and you know there's about 8 to 10 different running plays and a couple passes they could use. So just don't be fooled by them. Give up big plays and maybe lose the game.
Dan Henning, the offensive coordinator, goes with Ricky Williams now lined up behind Pennington. 2nd down and 8. And Ricky runs straight ahead. Jammed after a 1-yard gain. Brian Thomas right into his arms.
And you watch this Jet offense, just the first 3rd down, Jim. Did you see what they did? 2 tight ends and 2 running backs on 3rd and 4. Not many offensive teams do that, and they brought the running back in motion, and they got such speed with Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown. When they come across and go outside, the defense widens, and what they do is they cut back up inside and get those first downs for this offense. Really, really clever, very clever offense, well designed.
Need to get to the 28 for the first. Pennington, sideline too high. 1 first down they pick up, and now they come out to punt it.
Well, it's still a victory for the for the Miami Dolphins. Got to be careful saying the Jets. When I see Chad Pennington, I go, Jets. Still hard to get used to. But they got the first down. They got the football away from their end zone a little bit, and they have a chance to back the Jets up and keep field position pretty neutral.
Brandon Fields averaging about 44 yards a punt. He has had 2 punts returned for touchdowns this season. Good job of bringing down that snap. It was high from John Denny, and it bounces at the 46 and goes laterally and down by Denny. Their long snapper, 33-yard punt. Good field position coming up for Favre on his 2nd series.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by Sprint, get NFL Mobile Live, only from Sprint, only on the Now Network.
AFC East on the line here. Miami with a win, takes the division. To think that a year ago in a 16-game schedule, they finished 15 games out of first place. They entered December of 07 at 0-13, and now on the last Sunday of this December, they're playing to win that same division. Unimaginable. Here's Thomas Jones slicing up to about the 50 for 4. Meanwhile, for the Jets side of it, a team that was 8-3 after its win at Tennessee, handing the Titans their first loss after 10 wins. We were there to see it. Would you have ever imagined that they'd be in this situation now where they need help on the last afternoon of the year?
No, I couldn't. They couldn't believe it. Brett Favre said, I walked off the field in Tennessee and go, man, we're going to be tough to beat. If we even continue to play somewhat close to this, they were clicking on both sides of the football, and neither side has clicked since then.
A 2nd down and 6 right at midfield. Favre, Goodman's there and makes the pick. That was intended for Leon Washington. He was overthrown, and Andre Goodman makes the play. Takeaway by the Dolphins defense. Andre Goodman with his 4th interception of the year. And you can go to CBSSports.com for complete coverage of the NFL playoffs, all the latest news, who's in, who's out. Read the expert analysis all online, CBSSports.com. And Ronnie Brown right into David Harris for no gain. What happened on the pick, Phil?
Well, let's just look at the route first. Leon Washington's going to do a double move. Andre Goodman, I think their best corner. He is covered right from the start, never throw the football. But more importantly, as you look across the field, nobody's open. And Eric Mangini goes, hey, great opportunity lost. I think you just said, why do you throw it? And you're trying to make plays. You're trying to open up the offense. They didn't do it last week because we got a little wildcat.
Little wildcat.
Everybody gets excited when it comes in.
Pennington wide left, and it's Ronnie Brown for about 5 yards. We've got another update on Jacksonville, Baltimore. Back to you, James Brown.
Jim and Phil, you know it's quite simple. All Baltimore needs is a win, and they're in. Matt Stover attempting to go up 6-0 here, but he misses that 48-yard field goal, so it remains 3-0 Baltimore, nursing that slim lead over Jacksonville. Back to Jim and Phil.
All right, JB, thanks for the update here. Coming off of Brett Favre's 20th interception of the season, most in the league. Dolphins trying to do something with it now, 3rd and 5. And caught on the rebound, and the ball's out. Recovered by a Dolphin.
This could be incomplete.
Yeah, did he have possession? And there's a Dolphin down. And you're already asking for some medical support. David Martin was the one trying to make the catch. It was hit by David Bowens. And there's an injury timeout.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by BlackBerry and by Denny's new $4 weekday Express Slam. A real breakfast for just $4. Denny's.
We're back at Giant Stadium, and thankfully David Martin is at least sitting up now.
Well, first you'll see why. After he gets possession of the football, look how he's hit Jim. When he goes to the ground, he gets hit from behind, pushes his neck up.
And he's now, as you see, Jake Long recovered it. Martin is slowly walking off. They have spotted the football, Phil, at the 34, and they're saying then, in that case, that it was a catch, no fumble.
Well, you know, now I want to just watch it, and don't forget, possession. This could be close and be challenged by the New York Jets. He bobbled the football, and he gets hit as he's gaining possession. And as he gains possession, now, Jim, as he goes to the ground, he has to hold that football all the way through. Let's see if he does. You tell me when he has possession. I tell you, I think
here.
Yep, that's a play that I would challenge.
And believe me, it's
a
very
big play.
close. And it was a 3rd down play. You know,
yes,
you were forcing
big play.
the punt. Jets are going to let it go. The play will stand. So with a new set of downs, Pennington trying to set up screen. Lofts it to Ricky Williams, and Eric Barton grabs a hold of him, picks up 3.
You know, it's such a touchy rule. That's why you got to be alert for it. Coaches are not going to see it even if they're sitting in the booth and they see a replay, unless you're paying attention to the rule. And it happened on Monday Night Football, or one of the night games I saw in Chicago, that once you're in contact with a defensive player, you've got to get possession, go to the ground, and can hold the football, basically get up with it and hand it to the official.
And again, they're ruling it officially a catch and no fumble. Sperano, who had come out onto the field during that break, at the back to the Wildcat here to check on David Martin, who has walked to the sideline. It's Brown keeping it out of this formation and races ahead just shy of another first.
And you watch this Wildcat here in person. I've talked about it a lot this year, but you can practice it. I saw the Jets practicing it on Friday, and I just remember remarking to you and everybody else that's with us, I just said, yeah, okay, you can see it here, but it doesn't even resemble what you're going to see in the game, because Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams are just so fast. So no matter how much you practice it, you've got to get used to it in live action, kind of like going against an option team in college.
You're going to measure for the first. Oh, and he's got it by a nose. You know, when we saw these two teams week 1, we had no idea what was going to come out on week 3 up at New England. That's when they debuted that Wildcat formation. But we did get a sense that the Miami team was going to be greatly improved.
Oh, you could see it in that game. Absolutely. You could. What did Brett Favre say the following week we did them when they played New England? He goes, man, they're strong.
Yep.
Talking about Miami, he goes, they're strong.
It's Brandon London in motion. One of only 3 wide receivers dressed for the game today by Miami. And driving the legs up to the 50. That's Ronnie Brown for 6. Again, 1-15, and this is the best turnaround from any team that ever went 1-15 already, regardless of what happens today. They bring in Bill Parcells. They hire Tony Sperano, the former Cowboy assistant. 10 years ago, he was a head coach about 90 minutes away up at New Haven, the University of New Haven.
Got a lot of those New Haven people here at the game today.
26 in all. A 2nd down and 4. And that's Ricky Williams. And Miami now takes it to the Jets side of the 50 for the first time. Tony Sperano and Eric Mangini, both Connecticut natives, both grew up huge New York Giant fans. We asked Tony last night if he ever came down to Giant Stadium as a fan, and he said many, many times.
Well, you asked him, did you ever come down to see the Jets? And he emphatically said, no.
Never.
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 Well, he let it be known what he was growing up.
But he sat in this stadium as a fan, and now here is a coach to try to pull off this remarkable turnaround from 1-15 to a playoff berth. Patrick Cobb's in the game. Pennington fakes the handoff, goes middle, and that is Cobbs, scooting to the Jets 42. Good for another first. They pick up another first on 3rd down. Here you go, 1-15 teams the next year. You look at the Colts of 91, the Jets of 96 went 9-7. You remember that last game too of that season.
I do. Lost in Detroit, cost them a playoff position. But you know, they had a favorable schedule. I hate to even say that, because winning in the NFL, you win. Chad Pennington split out again to the outside. David Martin taking him to the dressing room.
Head injury, they're telling us, doubtful to return. And that's Ronnie Brown to the 40. You saw that Jets, though, from 96 to 97. Of course, that marked the Bill Parcells entry here.
First year.
To the New York Jets. He engineered that turnaround as well.
Well, I'll tell you this. If you're the New York Jets, you're looking over there on offense, and you're going, I've never seen anything like this in the NFL. It is just a different look, a different group of people, and a series of plays, and you feel like they're in this wildcat again, that they're trying to set something up to get not a trick play, but something big down the field as this game goes on.
Brown has thrown twice this season out of this formation, and look at this, from Ricky Williams back to Pennington. You called it, Phil. Here's Ricky Williams. Oh, and he drops the ball at the 10-yard line. Oh, you saw it coming, partner.
They'd run it too many times early in this game, and what a job by Chad Pennington coming off the deep receiver down the field, and Ricky Williams going down the sideline. Watch it. He pitches it and all the way down the sideline. He gets off, finds his outlet receiver, and Ricky Williams, he doesn't have okay or good hands. He has excellent hands as a running back, but you can watch it. His head, his eyes came off of the football at the last second. That's why he missed it.
He sensed that Abram Elam was closing in on him and took his eye off of it. Timeout Miami. Just dropped what would have been a big play down to about the 10. We are back with a year like this coming to an end. Everyone could use a good laugh. Catch 2.5 Men tomorrow on America's Most Watched Network. Looks like a Miami sunset, but we're at the Meadowlands, and this is the 11th play of a 6-minute drive coming up. They've converted twice already on 3rd down. Need to get to the 34, and flags first.
Same thing. Well, I feel like I'm in Miami. It's a long time since I've done a game where I was sweating.
It's
sweating up
almost
here
60 degrees.
Number 57 offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Andy Allman home for that.
Yeah, so far this offensive line, Miami Dolphins, pretty good pass protection for Chad Pennington. That's a look at the time of possession already. It's a sore spot here in New York for anybody watching the game. Where is the pass rush?
Methodically moving the ball down the field so far. No play longer than 8 yards and a Jet timeout.
Personnel.
And Mangini frustrated. So the Jets got caught in the wrong personnel. They had to burn a timeout.
Always remember, very unconventional, this Miami Dolphins third down offense. They don't necessarily bring in a bunch of wide receivers.
They shift around and bring Brown and Williams flanking Pennington on 3rd and 12.
Expecting blitz, 2 backs in the backfield. Offsides.
Already been 3 penalties on Miami in this first quarter.
Ball start.
Make it 4.
Number 68 offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Jim, let's go back to this pass that Chad Pennington threw down the field to Ricky Williams. Ricky Williams is the player tracker. Look at the course that he took down the field. And I know he's dropped the pass, but what do you notice when you watch him in that replay and you watch him on the field?
He's still got speed.
Oh my gosh, he is fast.
He comes out. They go 2 tight ends, Fasano and Janos.
Well, they dropped the pass, 2 penalties.
3rd and 17. All kinds of time. That's Ronnie Brown. Shakes off a hit. Nothing more. A lot of work for 4 yards, and Dwight Lowry finally finished them off. They'll have to punt.
Yeah, good job by Chad Pennington. Patience. Just keep playing the game the way it is. Field position, not that it was that important near midfield, but just wait for your chances. Don't try to force it, and that is by far one of his great assets.
Seconds to go here in the first quarter, and that's Fields. And a fair catch. The wind creating problems for Leon Washington, who holds on after a 30-yard boot. So again, a Miami win would give them the AFC East. The Jets would clinch a playoff berth with a win and a Baltimore loss. And the Ravens have just fallen behind Jacksonville on a David Garrard touchdown pass.
And what else?
Well, for New England,
yes.
New England would be the AFC East champion with a Jet victory here, or would get in if Baltimore was to lose that game to Jacksonville with a Miami victory here.
There you go.
So great interest up New England way, of course. Not only the Jet fans trying to get some help. Thomas Jones tried to bounce outside, lost his footing to close out the quarter. Scoreless first. We'll return to the Meadowlands after these messages, and you're watching the NFL on CBS.
It's playoff time. Love you guys.
And we welcome you to the second quarter. Jim Nance, Phil Simms. Scoreless after the first. And a 2nd down and 10 coming up for Favre and the Jets. After Thomas Jones carried it for no gain. This time they give it to Leon Washington for 3. And let's send it back to you, JB, in the studio.
Jim and Phil, we know Baltimore needs a win to go into the postseason, but Jacksonville has other ideas. David Garrard hooking up with Alvin Pearman, a wide open Pearman, 23-yard strike, capping a 5-play, 50-yard drive. 7-3 Jacksonville in the second, Jim and Phil.
All right, James, that play making Jet fans and Patriot fans rejoice for a moment. So far in this game, not a single play longer than 9 yards from either side. Jets need 7 for a first. And there may have been contact with Channing Crowder jumping across that line.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it was. I think it was Brandon Moore was pointing to who's blitzing.
Encroachment. Number 52 defense.
And they accidentally hit
Still
or
3rd
touched
down.
Channing Crowder.
So now 5 flags against Miami.
What's the right guard, Jimmy? He's just going, somebody, oh boy. Maybe he was sticking his hand out there to touch him. I don't know.
Brandon Moore.
If he did, that's a pretty smart play.
Channing Crowder had been questionable all week with a knee, but he starts this game today. In fact, they had signed Derek Smith this week just in case Crowder was a no-go. 3rd and just 2 to go for the first. They blitz. Favre throws, and it's knocked away, knocked down by Jeremiah Bell.
Yeah, Jeremiah Bell, Ronaldo Hill, the two safeties, really playing well, and there is nothing there. Good timing. Brett Favre, the blitz, they can't pick it up. He goes to throw it, and believe me when I say nobody's open down the field either. The best the Jets could hope for there was an incomplete pass.
Favre has missed on his last 4 throws, including an interception, and that's Best, the returner.
I think now he's punting into the wind. Just changed it. Doesn't look like it.
Hodges. Good hang time from the 22, Best. And that quick step out to about the 31, then hit by Golston. 53-yard punt. Scoreless second quarter. Tonight, 60 minutes of Barack Obama from the beginning of his campaign. Behind the scenes look at the Road to the White House special edition coming up tonight. Miami begins this drive from its 31 with Ricky Williams in the backfield. That's Fasano. And runs over Rivas to pick up the first. Goes for 11. We've got an update. James Brown, take it away.
All right, Philadelphia coming back. Jim, take a look here. Donovan McNabb, key play was McNabb, escapability, hooking up with Corral Buchalter, a 59-yard reception. That set up Donovan McNabb, who took it over on a 1-yard keeper. It is now 10-3 Philly in the second. Back to Jim Nantz. Phil Simms.
And James Brown, the winner is in the postseason. The loser is out in that game. First down after the 11-yard pass play. Here comes Miami throwing again. Pennington over the head of Brandon London, who was on the New York Giants practice squad all of last season, waived by the Giants just before the start of this year.
Yeah, it's a good thought, but a very safe throw by Chad Pennington. Basically, he threw it. It's like a miracle catch or an incompletion, and of course he remembers the winds here in the Meadowlands, and today it's going a little bit everywhere. It's changing directions, going to the sides, so there's going to be a few times kickers and quarterbacks are going to be fooled.
But he knows the deal here after 8 years. Second down and 10. And intercepted with a flag down. That's Kerry Rhodes. There is a flag in the secondary.
Well, are they going to say the football was tipped? I thought I saw it being tipped.
Chris Jenkins put some pressure on Pennington.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 22 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Doesn't matter. You can't challenge this.
High law called for that.
On the outside, Ty Law, brought in weeks ago, and he just put his hands on the receiver way too long, past the 5 yards.
It was about 10 yards worth. He just had a hand on his back, and that's enough to draw the penalty, cross off the interception, and give Miami another first down at its own 47.
I think it was the Tennessee Titans who said to us about the New York Jets, hold, they hold every play. They dare you to keep throwing the flags. Their corners put their hands on you. That's what they believe in. And they flirt with that 5-yard line and try to carry it to about 8. That time it was 10.
First and 10, they go inside. Fullback, Polite. Scoots it across midfield for 4 yards. How about Pennington's play and what you've seen so far?
Well, it's borderline still perfect. Got fortunate with the interception that was brought back. But what we're seeing here today, we've seen all year long and really his whole career. He just knows how to work an offense, and that's what it is. I've said this about Dan Henning, the offensive coordinator, and Chad Pennington. They're doing it with mirrors down in Miami. They're not explosive. They just give their team a lot of options and a lot of different ways to get it done.
Second and 6, you see Pennington trot out to the right side. So here comes Williams off the handoff from Brown, and they're 2 yards shy of the first. Talking to Chad last night, and we'll get to that in a minute. We've got an update on that Jacksonville-Baltimore game. Back to JB.
Jim, what a Sunday of action. As you said, Baltimore needs to win to get in. Baltimore, LaRon McClain, 5-yard power drive to pay dirt, capping a 10-play, 78-yard drive. 10-7 now, Baltimore back on top. Back to Jim Nantz. Phil Simms.
And McClain with that touchdown. He's going to the Pro Bowl. 3rd and 2 here for Miami. Inside run, they get it with Polite. Back to Pennington. The thought of being, he told us last night, the AFC East champions is way bigger than it is to me just beating the Jets.
Well, yeah, of course it is. And he goes, now, if we do all that and beat the Jets in the Meadowlands, that'll make it a little sweeter. But what did he say to us last night that I think caught us both by surprise? He'd been down in Miami for about 10 days, and he told his dad what? He goes, we can win 10 games.
He said, I told my dad and a couple of friends that, after being around this team, there's enough here. He really thought they could get to 10. Well, now they want to get to 11 because that would mean postseason. They're at 10. Pennington in trouble, and Brian Thomas. And the ball comes out. Recovered by the Jets. Jason Trusnick has the recovery at midfield.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Lipitor. Pizza Hut. Get ready for a whole new way to eat pizza with the natural from Pizza Hut. Now you're eating. And by Acura. Visit shopacura.com during the Drive Home for the Holidays event. Acura Advance.
Something seldom done this season. Miami with a turnover, and now you see Favre lined up wide to the right. Here comes the Jets version of the Wildcat. Brad Smith, no. He's knocked down for a 3-yard loss by Joey Porter. Here's the fumble on Pennington.
Watch Brian Thomas, top of your screen. He hesitates, and once they commit his blockers, he comes underneath. Very well-timed, clever Chad Pennington. Saw the pressure coming. He has 2 hands on the football, but sometimes the strength of defensive linemen or a linebacker the size of a defensive lineman, Brian Thomas, able to pull it away.
2nd down and 13. That Miami defense saying, wait a minute, we practice against our first unit. We've seen that Wildcat formation. Not going to fool us.
Well, the Jets' Wildcat is much slower than Miami's.
Favre's throw is just wide of Cotchery.
Well,
Nathan Jones on the coverage. 3rd and 13 coming up.
I said, well, he's open. In the NFL, that's wide open. And you got to hit that almost every time. So Brett Favre, his confidence in the slot. Watch the breakout. His rhythm, his confidence maybe after the interception. Got to hit him.
He's missed his last 5 attempts. Gonna load up here on 3rd and 13. Moving Coles around, and with pressure, Favre hit when he throws it. It's a good throw. Hits Cotchery with the catch, and he's inside the Miami 30.
Oh, it's a tremendous throw. A lot of good stuff by the Jets. Favre throwing under pressure. Big blitz from the right side. Look at all the blitzers. Look at the pickup. And as he throws it, he's hit. He goes backwards. And the defenders from Miami, they're just trying to watch Brett Favre and react to the throw. Joey Porter not able to get there and knock it down. What a throw, what a catch.
The longest play of the game by either side goes for 26. This after the Pennington fumble. Philip Merling was in on Favre, but he stood ground and released a good one. It's Jones. And he has contact at the line of scrimmage. Is able to get 2 yards out of it.
I think the best thing that explains the Miami Dolphins a couple. This week, okay, all the thoughts, you win, you're in. They started giving Tony Sperano all the scenarios. He goes, hey, look, I only know one thing. We're going to practice and we're going to work hard. That's it. And we talked to Joey Porter last night, Jim, and he said, oh, my gosh, it's where we work. And every week it's we work. Well, nothing's easy.
But he likes it.
Yeah.
He thought there was one week where they didn't maybe work long enough, and they lost.
They lost. There you go.
The 2nd down throw. That one rifled by Favre, and again he's hit right after the release that was going for Cotchery. Goodman on the coverage.
Well, I said it, they'd like to go down the field a little bit, these play actions, because it gets separation between the linebackers and the front of the defense and then to the back of the defense. Throw it in between that area. Now they're trying it. He did have somebody open Cotchery and missed it, but overall the Miami Dolphins are challenging the Jet wide receivers. A lot of man-to-man.
Vonnie Holiday influenced that pass, decking Favre after the throw. 3rd and 9, and Leon Washington takes off, and they move the pile enough, I believe, for a first.
Boy, was that fast.
Gonna have the first down.
Little shovel pass. Just good action. Oh boy, Alan Faneca up inside. Look at the blocking down the field.
Look at Faneca help things out here.
Yep. Jet offensive lineman did a good job. The football thrown behind the line of scrimmage. They're down the field. You get a yard plus the time of the throw. That's why they were so deep into the Miami defense.
Another Pro Bowl year for Faneca. Take the pass, go with the run. Washington backs it into about the 13, into Vonnie Holiday. He runs, but that's a good 5-yard gain.
You know, Jim, to go back what I was saying about the Miami Dolphins, it's just a high-effort team. You don't look at them and go, wow, they got a lot of talent. That's why they're in this position. It's just high effort, and especially on the defensive side.
And the Jets' red zone trips this season, scoring touchdowns a little better than 50% of the time. They're residing there now on 2nd and 5. Favre was looking end zone, now goes underneath to Coles. Cuts to the 5, and he's in for the touchdown. Lavernius Coles, what a cut to pay dirt. Looked like they would wrap him up at about the 5-yard line. He escaped. Channing Crowder.
Well, just so many things. And Lavernius Coles coming all the way across the field looks so fast. And this is a nice throw by Brett Favre, changing his arm angle. In the pocket, gets it really high, throws it soft right to Lavernius Coles, and something the Jets have just not done enough of. Catching it and running after the catch.
Jay Feely, the Miami kicker a year ago, and a mishap on the snap. And the extra point is snuffed out by Miami. So not 7, just 6. 6, though, brilliantly pulled off by Coles. Favre has his touchdown pass. The Jets take advantage of a Miami miscue. The fumble recovered by Trusnick, and then 8 plays later, Favre to Coles. He escapes the tender need. Channing Crowder gets into the end zone.
Yeah, the big play, Leon Washington. The shovel pass to him, they kept the drive going when it was 3rd and long. And boy, if I read that, heard that enough this week, you got to get Leon Washington more touches. They'd like to, but you know the other team knows that. Sometimes it's not as easy as it sounds.
They also had that big 26-yard pass play to Cotchery on 3rd and 3rd. And making the play there is the man who made the recovery, Trusnick, to set up the touchdown. Hodges unable to handle the snap from dirt. 6-0 Jets, 2nd quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx, your ultimate NFL air and ground player. And by The Fit, new from Honda. The Fit is go.
We are back, Jim Nance and Phil Simms. You remember, Phil, in that first meeting, which the Jets won 20-14, there was a missed extra point by the Jets because Nugent got injured in that game and it haunted them for a while. They held on for the win with a late kick as snap goes to Brown. He's going to throw it over the top. He had a man wide open.
Oh, my gosh.
He had Joey Hanos
That
free.
is another new wrinkle. They haven't shown this one, and he is gone.
That's the win.
No, that's a running back throwing a pass.
Yeah, but it was a rather significant curve there, too.
And we talked last night. Ronnie Brown loves running this Wildcat and being the quarterback, and he was 2 for 2 coming into it. And I said, you working on that arm, you're going to get better during the offseason.
He loved the fact they had a higher quarterback rating on those 2 throws than Pennington, who's had just a marvelous season here.
Huge miss.
All the way around. That was a huge miss. 2nd and 10. They go to Bess. And a good job of wrapping them up. Tresnick making a 3rd play in this game. Miscues by Miami, including 2 big ones in Jet territory.
Yeah, the penalties have really hurt them.
The drop.
And then 2 passes out of the Wildcat formation and the fumble by Chad Pennington. So the opportunities are there. And what they're doing, if nothing else, they'll get this Jet defense sitting back and not attacking the running lanes as hard as they have been because of the 2 passes they've thrown out of the Wildcat formation.
3rd and 5. Oh, should have been intercepted. Eric Barton was ready to run.
Yep, it's a read route by Devon Bess inside, and he is coming back going, I'm sorry, Chad. Watch him as he goes across. He's reading it. Keep moving. He stops. Quarterback can't read that. Whew, very lucky.
That could have gone the distance.
Well, I was just making comments how I'm tired of hearing the word Wildcat. I've said it 50 times today.
More to come. Brandon Fields riding the jet stream and into the end zone touchback. 45 yards net on that punt. We have another update. Back to you, James.
Hey, Jim and Phil, Baltimore trying to put a little distance between itself and Jacksonville. Take a look here as Willis McGahee, 13-yard run to pay dirt, capping an 8-play, 77-yard drive, up by 10 over Jacksonville, 4:52 left in the first half. Jim Nance, Phil Simms.
Well, that Jacksonville lead didn't hold up for long, so now a 10-point lead for the Ravens, and Flacco is, well, 14 yards shy of 200 yards passing in the first half. That's from the 20, leading 6-0. Barr just throws it away.
Well, watch the trackers. That's Lavernius Coles coming across the field, doing a good job carrying with the football, and on the field, we have intentional grounding. That's a tough call. You know, what are you supposed to do? The receivers are covered, so you got to throw it close to the receiver. Nobody's open. Here comes the receiver across the field. That's who he wants to throw it to. So, yes, he's avoiding the sack, but everybody's covered.
But what's the rule on that about in between the tackles?
Well, when you're in between the tackles and you throw the football away to avoid a sack, then it is intentional grounding. I understand. But again, okay.
So loss it down and 10 yards on top of it. 2nd down and 20. It's looking like a true quarterback.
Not at all.
Well, that's the rule. Here is Washington to the 23. A good block by Dustin Keller, who has been quiet, Phil. He had such a big middle part of this season. Look at Leon Washington making another play.
Kind of reminds you of Ricky Williams going across the formation. He's just faster than everybody else. He has the football in his hands, and he can just run and make moves and be quicker than whoever's chasing him. And he is a tremendous weapon for this Jets offense.
They send 3 to the left. They have 3rd and 7 to go. Lob it in, and a little too much. He led Leon Washington. Crowder was running with them, and they'll have to punt.
Yeah, Channing Crowder, he got beat early in the game in this exact throw, so he had a little different angle this past time. He played for Washington to break it out. That's why he was all over the pass, and Brett Favre basically had to throw it away.
Reggie Hodges returns. Snap it. Zips it back to the punter, who sends a spiral to Bess at the 23. Wallace right back there. He gets away from him that first wave, and he's out to the 40. So good starting point. Brad Smith gets credit for that tackle after a 53-yard, 16-yard run back. And Tuesday, Look at the names, look at the faces, look at the stars who are coming out. Spectacular performances at the Kennedy Center Honors Tuesday on America's most watched network. Morgan Freeman, Barbara Streisand, Pete Townsend, Roger Daltrey. Tuesday on CBS.
Well, look what the quarterbacks have done. Not a great start by either one of them. If you just look at the numbers.
Pennington will start this now under center. Fakes to Brown. Throws it to him. And that's Jason Trusnick. How many times are we going to mention his name in this quarter? Number 57, second-year player out of Ohio Northern. Had a fumble recovery that set up the touchdown. Special teams tackle, and now a couple of tackles on defense as well.
That's kind of how you judge a defensive player. Do your job, of course. Linebackers, can you find the football? And he is finding that football today. Kind of been watching Jake Long, left tackle, 77. Rough game, the opening game of the year. How's he doing today? Doing pretty well so far.
Holds off Coleman as the pass is wide of Ronnie Brown, and again it's Trusnick on the coverage. Got 3rd and 5 on the way. Trusnick giving them some time there, and you know they drafted in the first round with the 6th overall selection Vernon Golston, who would have to say has been a big disappointment out of Ohio State here in his rookie year, no question.
First round picked that high, and you're not part of the defense.
There he is, 56.
I'd say that's a mild understatement that he's been a disappointment.
And then you got Trusnick coming in as a free agent, making plays. 3rd and 5. Pennington got away, got the pass to Fasano for the first. He was about to be decked for a sack, picks up 8 and moves into Jet territory.
Yeah, you know, again, it's just he doesn't panic. He is going to take the sack. He realizes it's over, but hey, nobody grabbed me, so he spins out and then able to find a tight end down the field. Very nice play by Chad Pennington.
And Miami quickly to the line. And quickly over to Bess with a block around in front. Here's Ted Ginn, who's been quiet so far in this game, throwing a block for Bess. Collects 7.
Well, you know, you see that Devon Bess. Tony Sperano said last night, free agent right at the beginning of the training camp, he said he's got endurance, he can run routes, and he can catch the ball.
He's got 51 catches on the season. A 2nd and 3. And they go right back to him. Bess has the most catches by an undrafted rookie receiver in the league since a guy named Wayne Crabette back in 1995 for the Jets.
Wow. Down, played at Hawaii, so they had that run and shoot offense. June Jones, they throw it every down, and he took all that experience and the good teaching he got and enabled him to really make a team, like we said, as a free agent.
First down. Sperano had a lot of praise for the coaching job by June Jones on him in college. They're going for Ginn here. Ginn pulls it in. Touchdown Miami. Right over Dwight Lowry.
Yes, and watch, got a little push off. Time to push perfectly. Almost got both arms extended. The blitz by the New York Jets.
I think Ronnie Brown picked up that blitz. Watch Brown.
Oh, nice job. It's his it inside. Oh, yes, Ted Ginn got both hands on the defensive back. Doesn't look as bad in slow motion, but you just put your hands on the arm of Dwight Lowry. A little bit of a push. Throws his timing off, and a nice catch by Ted Ginn.
Somehow he snagged it on the back end of the football. Extra point is good by the rookie Carpenter. So the difference here is a point after. Failed by the Jets. Miami leads it by 1. Coming up, we've got the Sprint halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, and Boomer, and Coach Cowher. All the latest scores and highlights coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Chad Pennington has just thrown his 100th career touchdown pass. And Ginn.
Oh, yeah. Well, nice job. Ted Ginn is his greatest strength. Well, there's a lot of them right now for him because he's come along so much this year for the Miami Dolphins. Got his hands on Dwight Lowery. It doesn't matter. He has come along so much that actually every once in a while he gets double coverage, which has opened up other parts of the offense and has really helped out this Miami football team.
Beyond Washington. Oh, he was ready to run with it before Walden grabbed a hold of him. Eric Walden holds it to a 26-yard run back. Here is the difference. Dirth's snap was a little high and inside, and Hodges mishandled it as well. So it's a 7-6 Miami lead. Again, that was only his second touchdown catch of the season. He's had a couple of in the rounds go for scores.
Opportunities missed by both teams. Dropped interception by the Jets. Big plays not taken advantage of by Miami. So they're both going to go in and have time to complain.
On first down, fake left, go right, get picked. Got picked, and here he goes. Philip Merling has it for the touchdown. The rookie from Clemson picks off Favre. And Miami has 2 touchdowns seconds apart.
Merling, number 97. Oh, right away, Jim. Right away, he diagnosed the screen. He goes, oh no, something's fishy. And what a job of reacting. First-year player. And Brett Favre does kind of limp off the field.
Well, he looked like his right arm was numb when he walked off the field. Fell right on his right elbow.
Caught his elbow, definitely jolted that right shoulder.
Carpenter adds the extra point. 2 touchdowns, 15 seconds apart, and Favre definitely is hurt.
You're watching CBS Sports.
Touchdown! What a catch! Touchdown!
More people watch the NFL on CBS than any other network.
But Brett Favre had a brief conversation with Kellen Clemens. He's been picked for the second time in this game, and Clemens is warming up.
Yeah, I tell you, Jim, the way he landed, when you watch Brett Favre, he dives, watch how he lands on his elbow and extends that shoulder.
Oh.
Let's go. And there have been reports this week that there could be some trouble with the shoulder. Hard to tell sometimes when you see him fired down the field. Grabbing the fingertips makes you think that some numbness in his hand right now.
Well, they talked about how if they went in and conducted an MRI, that I'm sure they'd find something in there, he said. And
I haven't seen him throw a ball just to check it out since he's been on the sideline.
he's grimacing. He is in pain. Said it was even sore at the end of last year. Took a hit in the game against Cincinnati here at home. About game 6 this season.
Yeah, he's keep checking it out. Of course, we're not going to know these answers, and I don't know if he's going to know. Is he just going to go on the field and wait and get these answers once he throws the football?
Work the middle, not much there. Plugged up at the 23. We've got the 2-minute warning. With Miami now in front, 14-6. Favre is coming back out. Man who has not missed a start. 269 games, so he's taken the blows, he's taken the hits through the years, and he kept getting up. Making no exception here. Going to hand it off. That's Washington, and Crowder running them down. Picks up about 3, maybe 4. Coming up in the Sprint halftime report, going to send it back to JB. He's having a big day and doing a great job of updating us on all the playoff scenarios. Dan Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher will go through all the highlights and the scores. Sprint halftime report coming up shortly. Let's see what the arm looks like. Well, he zips it to Keller. And Keller has the first down. The first catch for the rookie tight end, who was on a rampage in that win streak was Dustin Keller, but it's quieted down here in recent weeks.
Yeah, it really has. When he was getting hot, you thought this is really going to take this team over the top.
Washington, Danica out in front. He's down at the 40. Jets have 2 timeouts, a minute to go in the half.
And you don't use one right here because you got it moving. You've got the football, a first down, you got a good situation, and you would think the Miami defense will still play safe, conservative.
Open, Coles makes the cut down to the 33. Well, if you thought that arm was in shock, he comes out and throws 2 bullets, one to Keller, one to Coles. This one for 27.
Oh, good wind up and just lets it go. Lavernius Coles. I know the field was bad last week, but today just looking quicker, sharper, and once he catches it, it's just going right up the field.
Jets down to 1 timeout. That's one point you made going into this game, is how the Jets receivers had to do a better job this week of giving Favre some options.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Jim, I watched that game. I watched it, like I said, all their games, and there's too many times he's throwing the football, and they're just hoping for miracle catches. The defenders are all over them. Seattle just challenged them. The weather, and I don't think they had great respect for the Jet receivers. They challenged them the whole game. Miami backing off just a little bit, and Brett Favre is taking advantage of it.
Favre on this drive, 3 for 3 with 3 different receivers.
I guess there's a reason why he's made all those starts. He can overcome pain. There's a lot of reasons. That's just one of them.
No flag. I thought perhaps that was going to be called on Will Allen right in the back of Jericho Cotchery.
Very good protection by the Jets. Very good, and that's excellent timing.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Really was. Anytime you see a play like that, we all just assume it's going to be pass interference. Front hand goes for the knockdown, and the backhand of the defender always grabs the receiver.
Former first-round pick of the Giants out of Syracuse, 2001. Back to his former home field. Second down, Favre throw. Keller shakes off the hit of Crowder. And he's down to the 19. Crowder obviously not 100%. He's had a couple of plays now that have gotten away from him, including the touchdown. That's a 15-yard gain.
Missed tackles really big by the Miami Dolphins here in the first half. Flag goes up. It's got to be an illegal formation, I would think.
Illegal formation. Number 87 offense was not on the line of scrimmage. There is no 10-second runoff. 5-yard penalty, first down.
To a break, no 10-second runoff, 22 seconds and 1 timeout for Mangini's side.
Got to know the rules, especially anytime you're spiking it, killing the clock. Receivers, everybody knows that you got to cover the tackle. How many guys got to be on the line of scrimmage? Still see it every week, though.
From here, if they had to, it would be about a 41-yard field goal. Favre, though, has other ideas, and he's down to the 10. Good chance he's Stuckey. He doesn't want to take that time out here. He's looking for the spike again. Gets him set. And they've got now 8 seconds. 1 play to the end zone, you would think.
Yes, that's what it is. It could be anything. Of course, Jim, you can keep this football in the field of play. And if you get tackled, you just got to be ready to call a timeout. Look at the wind. Take that football.
Ooh. This is Chancey Stuckey. Caught a touchdown against Miami week 1. Was a teammate of Philip Merling's.
You got to tell players in the huddle, though, catch it. You either score, you got to get down, because you fight for extra yardage. First half could run out.
Favre to the goal line, just a little too low for Keller. They'll have to bring out Feely now.
Yeah, what a recovery and a comeback by the Jet offense and Brett Favre. And this is a good throw. It's a good throw because of the tight coverage. You throw it down. Oh, boy.
Wow, when you see it that way,
Yes.
should have been caught.
Got to get down there and dig some of those out. He saw the defender outside. That's why he threw it low where only his guy could catch it.
Fighting swirling winds, 28 yards, Feely. He has a little revenge factor of his own going against the Miami team that he kicked for a year ago. They let him go before the season. Field goal's good, 14-9 is the score. Sprint halftime report coming up after this message and a word from your local station. You are watching the NFL on CBS.
CBS Sports presents the Sprint Halftime Report. Get the new NFL Mobile Live only from Sprint, America's largest, most dependable 3G network.
And welcome back to our New York studios and the Sprint Halftime Report. I'm James Brown along with my guys Dan, Coach Shannon, and Boomer. Let's get you caught up with the scores and highlights from around the National Football League.
Hey, in New York, Chad Pennington drops back. He finds Ted Ginn Jr. Great throw, great catch in the back of the end zone. A lot of mistakes in the first half of this game, especially this one by Brett Favre. Philip Merling picks it off. He throws it right to him. He goes 25 yards for a touchdown. The Jets add a field goal, 14-9.
The Baltimore Ravens will not let this opportunity slip away. Slip away. What you talking about, Willis McGahee? 13-yard TD run. Puts him up 17-7. LaRon McClain after interception.
Big boy.
By Ed Reed, 24-7 at the half. Baltimore wants that 6th seed, JB.
New England saying, stop throwing interceptions, Brett Favre. They need the Jets to beat Miami to win the division. They go on 13-0 in 50-mile-an-hour winds up in Buffalo.
So the AFC playoff picture looks like this. Tennessee and Pittsburgh first-round byes. The 3rd seed will be the winner of the AFC East, either New England or Miami. The 4th seed, the winner of Denver-San Diego tonight. And the 6th seed, as Sandy said, right now looks like Baltimore, but the Jets are still in the picture. Cowboys and Eagles, coach.
When you're in, and I'll tell you what, right now, Philadelphia is playing inspired football. Donovan McNabb, he's going to scramble around, find Correll Buckholder. He's going to take his ball 59 yards down. It's going to lead to a 1-yard Donovan McNabb touchdown. The Dallas offense in the first half has only 80 yards. What? But really, it's been all Philadelphia. McNabb, you're going to find Correll Buckholder for this 4-yard touchdown. He's going to add on another touchdown pass and a field goal, 27-3 at the half.
Smoking in Philly.
And Drew Brees, a big day, 386 yards, 4 touchdowns, but it's not enough. He fell 15 yards short of my single-season passing record. And, yes, John Casey hits a field goal for the game winner. Carolina wins the South and a first-round bye.
That they did. Rams, Falcons.
Jarris Norwood had 3 carries, 56 yards, 2 touchdowns. This 45-yarder here, Jay. But the man of the hour, Michael Turner, 25 carries, 208 yards, 1 TD. And the 5th seed belongs to the Dirty Birds, 31-27 over St. Louis.
Hey, Tampa Bay had playoff hopes, but never let the 4-11 Oakland Raiders come across the country and behind Michael Bush, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the Tampa Bay defense gave up 192 yards rushing, and Tampa Bay loses their 4th straight game to close the season.
How about this? The Giants played this like a preseason as David Carr played quarterback in the second half. But all Minnesota needs is Ryan Longwell to kick a 50-yard field goal. He does it. They win the NFC North. Finally, on the last game of the season, they are going to the playoffs.
And Ryan Moats takes his 2-yard touchdown run in as Houston knocks Chicago out of the playoffs.
So as we take a look at the NFC side of the house, everything is just about set as you look at seeds 1 through 5. All that's left, the 6th seed, the battle between Philly and Dallas will determine that. Right now, Philly's looking awfully good. Browns, Steelers.
And the Steelers won 31-0, but the only thing they're concerned about right now is the health of Ben Roethlisberger. He gets hit on this play, and he carted off the field. Thumbs up. The tests were negative, and Coach Mike Tomlin said he was hopeful that Ben will be available in 2 weeks when they have their first playoff game.
That is good news for Steeler fans for sure. Shannon!
JB, not only can we make history by going 0-16, we can allow 2 100-yard receivers, 100-yard rushers in the same game by teammates, and that's what Detroit did. Donald Driver did 71-yard catch and run from Aaron Rodgers as they win 31-21 over Detroit Lions, and I am not disappointed.
Yo, Shannon, Shannon, truly you are.
I saw it with my own eyes. It happened.
0-16.
0-16.
Second half, Jets after this.
Can I get
CBS Sports presents the Sprint Halftime Report. Get the new NFL Mobile Live only from Sprint, America's largest, most dependable 3G network.
We are back at the Meadowlands with Miami leading it 14-9. Chad Pennington throwing a touchdown to Ted Ginn. And just seconds later, Philip Merling, the rookie, Defensive lineman intercepting Favre and running it back for a touchdown. 14 points in 15 seconds. Yes, there were miscues on each side. A scoreless first quarter, all the points coming in the second. It's 14-9 Miami, and we'll return after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Now there's the halftime numbers. One turnover committed by Miami, a Pennington fumble that led to a Jets touchdown, and then the 2 Favre interceptions. And again, this game is brought to you in high definition here on CBS. Now Miami deferred. They won the coin toss, the Dolphins, and now they'll receive it to begin the third quarter. Patrick Cobbs awaiting the return. Just when you thought Favre might have a hard time getting back up and back in, he leads them down the field in the last 2 minutes to a field goal and actually threw a ball that could have been caught for a touchdown. Still going. Near the 40. You know, it's hard to imagine, but out there somewhere right now, Bill Belichick is rooting for the New York Jets to come up with a big second half.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to even think about. You know, some images just don't come clear to your mind. But you look at the first half. Opportunities lost by both teams. And as they went into the locker room, what do you think the Miami Dolphins were thinking? Oh, my gosh, the offseason, a new coach, everything that's on the line, we're so close. Can they make a few plays to get them over the hump here in the second half?
The first play of the second half, they're going to send Pennington out wide to the right and snap it directly to Brown, who gives it to Williams, who races through a seam, and Elam decks him, but not until he picks up a first down. There was that speed exhibited right there.
Yeah, what it is too, Jim, when he goes out here, it widens the defense, and Ricky Williams just looks for a lane to come up into. And you talk about what's going on and why does this work? Well, the talent of the Miami Dolphins, they're the ones that really have the different plays that you can run out of it. But what it does for the offense, it gives you an extra blocker. That's what gives you the chance to be successful. Even in the pros, moderately, that extra blocker helps you out.
And again, they go to it with the inside give to Ricky Williams for a yard. You know, it was called in Arkansas, where it really originated with David Lee, now their quarterback coach. It was the Wild Hog offense, and as you pointed out this weekend, it was all designed for Peyton Hollis, the rookie who had a big game against Hillis, who had the big game against the Jets earlier this year.
He got hurt at Arkansas, and they didn't want to scrap it. It was so good, so they gave it to Darren McFadden, who's a first-round pick of the Oakland Raiders, and wow, did it take off. And we heard they kind of did this in some OTAs or little mini camps they had during the offseason, and they brought it onto the field week 3 against New England.
Pennington had some time, and that's Hanos. Boy, it bounces right back to him. It looked like he was going to fumble it, held on to it, then did have it stripped. All of that for 3 yards.
It's a good job faking the in sweep with Ricky Williams, and again, what it does, so many things. You saw the defense widen, and it allows Hanos to tight end. Coming across, he's wide open.
Brought down by Calvin Pace. Hanos getting some more playing time because David Martin was injured in the first quarter. Suffered a head injury, has not returned. 3rd and 6 with his first drive of the third quarter. They bring everybody. Pass. Incomplete, looking for Ginn. He was out. Law. Ty Law on the coverage. Well, again, Miami playing to win the division. It's the only way Miami can get in. The Jets need to win this one and hope for some big-time comeback by Jacksonville, down 17 in this third quarter to Baltimore. And, of course, moreover, you got the New England side of it. New England hope. Oh, it's over the head of Fields, who falls on it at the 27. Down by Wallace right, John Denny. That's the second time in this game we had a shaky snap.
Yeah, you know, Jim, and what do I think? The first thing that comes to my mind, are they letting the wind affect them? In other words, do you try to give it a little extra because you think the wind's going to knock it down, help it? Remember, these are kicker footballs. They are not quite as easy to hold on to and handle.
Yeah, Sperano saying, hey, that's now twice. We got away with one in the first half, but not this time.
That's huge.
So the Jets come out at the 28. Oh, and right away, Holiday in on Thomas Jones.
Boy, what did Brett Favre say about Bonnie Holiday? Hey, he was a first-round draft pick up in Green Bay. I know him well. 91, just beats the blocker. He goes, he never stops. He works all the time, and he's just kind of an old-school player. That's about the way he put it. That gave him a tremendous compliment that he would play all out every play.
What we were finding out last night, at one point they were thinking about putting Holiday as an outside linebacker this season. Gave that job to Matt Roth instead, opposite Joey Porter, that is, who has had a quiet day so far. A 2nd and 14. Far throw, and behind the wide open Weston Keller.
Yeah, mistake by the Miami defense. They get away with it. I couldn't tell if the football was hit. But you're going to have two receivers go down. And both defenders jump to the short one, Dustin Keller wide open. Well, let's watch Brett Favre. Does he get enough time and protection? Football's tipped.
Yep, you're right. 3rd and 14. Only the 9th time all season a Miami opponent has started a drive in Miami territory. Jets trying to make something of it. Faneca picks up the blitz. What a catch by Cotchery, and the ball is out after he was crossed the first down yardage.
Well, it's ruled a fumble because I see the little beanbags come flying out.
And a recovery by the Jets.
What a throw by Brett Favre. And it's a first down.
What a catch by Cotchery.
Yeah, it really is.
Coles comes into the pile after the ball is loose.
Yeah, that is definitely a fumble.
The fight for the football. And Cotchery got it back.
Cotchery got it back. Philip Merling came in and actually knocked it back to him.
Yeah, a little more into his arms. So they're in the red zone. Washington down to the 10. The Jets go all the way back to November of 2006 since they scored a touchdown on the opening drive of the second half. It's 36 straight games without scoring a TD. First time they had it second half. They can break that streak. Going no huddle, and they do! Touchdown, Leon Washington. All set up by the bad snap. The Jets cash in and take the lead back.
Yeah, it's that, Jim. It's Brett Favre made a nice throw to get the third down, and this hurry up caught the Miami defense just not ready. They don't feel the gaps. And the man-to-man coverage by the Miami Dolphin defense, the New York Jets, of late, they have been winning those matchups.
They're going to try to atone for the sloppy point after that was blown at the beginning of the second quarter. So they're going to try to get that back right here and go up 3.
I would say right now, I agree with that. I would go for the 2. Usually I say wait.
Favre's pass, it's low, but it is caught by Cotchery for the 2-point conversion. Leon Washington. Sperano was concerned about how they could stop him. Cotchery digs this one off the top. Now the Jets, it was looking pretty dire when Favre had an awkward fall on his right elbow and threw the pick that was running for the touchdown to make it 14-6, but they've come back now with 11 unanswered.
I've seen him get dinged up a lot. I swear I thought this time, well, that'll do it. He's out.
Again, beautifully angled. Oh, your foot was outside. They're going to give him the touchback.
There you go. He did not get the football into the field of play.
The football still remained behind the line. We'll bring it out to the 20.
The NFL on the Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event. German engineering for practically just a signature.
We are back at Giants Stadium, and boy, the Jets staff upstairs and everyone in this crowd was wanting to get a second look at this. Did the whole football come out at any point?
It is reviewable, but the whole football must come out. And my first thought was, and looking at Jim, it did not.
Not the entire ball.
Right.
Some of it was still on the plane. And it wasn't official right there. Flea flicker time. Pennington airs it out deep for Ginn, who comes back, pulls it in at the 36.
Sometime when you throw these trick plays down the field, when you underthrow it, it gives one guy a chance to get it, and that is the receiver. The defense is fooled. They run to catch up, and they're working so hard. When there's adjustment to be made, only the wide receiver can make that adjustment.
It goes for 44 yards. Over to Bess. And he's wrapped up by Revis.
So think about what we're seeing today. The two passes out of the Wildcat, both of them could have been touchdowns, a flea flicker, and this is really nothing new for this Miami offense. They make you get ready for everything. Watch the defense. Look at him just running, trying to catch up with Ted Ginn Jr. And then when he adjusts, it takes the defenders too long to find the football and break it up.
A 2nd and 9 from the New York 35. With a play action, and Pennington goes underneath to Brown. Ridden down by Eric Barton. We've got another update. James Brown.
Jim and Phil, Dallas being skewered in Philadelphia. Take a look at Tony Romo on 2nd and 15. Hit by Brian Dawkins. Loose ball picked up by Chris Clemens. 73 yards of pay dirt. Jim and Phil, 34-3. Philly over Dallas in the 3rd. Back to Jim and Phil.
Now that's an embarrassing performance by the Cowboys. And Philadelphia is going to grab that last playoff berth on the NFC side.
Boy, it's that bad, it almost makes you think, well, will there be some backtracking of words?
First down picked up on the throw to Brandon London.
A lot of deception. Fake the in sweep. Chad Pennington backside. It's one-on-one, and it is a nice, soft, perfect throw to Landon for the first down.
Chad Pennington with a new career high in completions, already with a career high in passing yardage. Now over 3,600 yards on the season. And he fought through injuries during his tenure with the Jets, a broken wrist, a pair of rotator cuff injuries that were career-threatening. Brown falls forward for that one.
You know, I swear, as you watch this offense of the Miami Dolphins, and you see guys coming in motion, and you know, the Wildcat, the flea flicker, I feel like I'm at a Friday night high school game.
You're liking it too.
I mean, it's so unique. And Dan Henning, the offensive coordinator, a couple things he believes in. Don't let my quarterback get hit.
Yep.
Because when he feels good, hey, they make great throws when they feel good. You're comfortable. You have faith in the guys blocking for you. And give your guys a chance to make plays. So that's what he's doing, designing these plays.
2nd and 9. Make sure my quarterback is standing up. That's one of his mottos. Here's his quarterback throwing for the end zone. And the catch is made by Anthony Fasano. What an adjustment that was.
That was. We've seen some tremendous adjustments to the football today. And Fasano, if it's led up the field, I don't think it's going to be complete. He's going to go out and up. They're faking the screen to Devon Bess. but they're not fooled. They got tight coverage on. It was man-to-man coverage. And Elam, again, so tough for defensive backs. Perfect throw by Pennington, back shoulder. The defensive back cannot adjust.
Extra point good. A Jersey boy from Verona High School comes back home. What a catch. Miami's in front. The Miami team that has won its last 4 road games. And they answer back here on the road after a Jet score. Fasano's 7th touchdown of the season. Look where he stacks up with the other tight ends. As he angles the kick, limiting Leon Washington's return options. We've had 3 lead changes in this one. A good one brewing.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the new AT&T. Your world delivered. And by Jordan. Become legendary.
Great job, great adjustment, Pennington says. Chad's hit 10 of his last 11 throws, including 2 touchdowns and a 44-yard completion to boot. And Miami's back in front here, mid-third. Jets come back throwing. And almost pulled in by Baker. Jet tight end, unable to pull that one in. Good effort, but how about the effort by Anthony Fasano on the touchdown?
Yeah, let's just watch the adjustment. Inside, turns all the way to the outside, backpedals a few steps, and able to make the catch. Tremendous adjustment. And I'll just say this, as you watch Chad Pennington throw the ball today, he's throwing perfect spiral, something he's always done here in a windy stadium, the Meadowlands in this area, and gives his receivers a chance to make those adjustments. We've seen a couple of them today.
On 2nd and 10, Thomas Jones, who has been bottled up for most of the day, picks up 3. Gets 7 rushes for 11 yards. Sperano talking about Fasano in the trade they made. You talk about it, the theft. They got Aiken Adele and Fasano from Dallas for a 4. He said it was huge for us.
Huge. It gives you an end-of-the-line blocker, Anthony Fasano, a good blocker. You've talked about it, Jim. He's part of the passing game. And Aiken Adele, starting linebacker all year long. Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty good trade.
Adele was in on that last tackle. Fasano reminded Bill Parcells a lot of a young Mark Bavaro. And that's what he said. Here's Favre's throw, and it's good for the first. And that's Coles reeling it in for a first down, gain of 16.
Yeah, well, right from the beginning of the game, what we say that they're going to try to go down the field a little more in that medium to deep area of the field. And this is the route. It's faking a sideline route and pulling up. Good timing by Brett Favre, and another strike, spiral, right on target. That's what you see when you go watch him in practice. Throwing it down the field makes it look easy, and you go, I know he's 39, he can still sling it there.
And Thomas Jones is held to, again, just a 2-yard gain. Bell on the hit. What's going on with the Dallas Cowboys, JB?
Hey, Jim and Phil, what do you want to call this? A requiem for the Cowboys in Philly? Take a look at this, Jim. This is Marion Barber. He takes it like he's going to pay dirt. Has it stripped by Brian Dawkins. Jocelio Hansen returns it, Jim. 96 yards of pay dirt. 41-3. And guess what, Jim? Tony Romo just fumbled again. Back to Jim Nance. Phil Sims.
Eagles in a runaway, a disaster for Dallas. Those 2 teams were playing, winning in, and the Eagles are looking at a trip now to Minnesota next week. And Favre is looking for Keller, incomplete. On the NFC side, you know, Philadelphia on its way to a blowout win. It's going to shape up like this on Wild Card Weekend. It's going to be Philadelphia at Minnesota, Phil, and Atlanta at Arizona.
Are you going to give Philadelphia the victory?
I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and jump way out there. I know you don't want to put it up there in the W column yet.
You are a tremendous predictor of games. You know, I'm looking at this Miami Dolphin defense, Jimmy, and you have not said Porter's name today. They have been moving him around, trying to find a place where he can get to the quarterback.
Third down, across the middle. Connor takes a hit. Keller was again the guy he was throwing it to, and Channing Crowder was the one who knocked down the quarterback.
Yep, good timing. That's blitzing. You hear me say it all the time. Both linebackers come from the inside. They time the snap count at the right time. The offensive lineman not able to make an adjustment, and that's what makes Brett Favre a little off target. You got to go down fighting. You can't just sit back and hope to win. The Miami Dolphins being aggressive on both sides of the ball and play call.
Hodges' boot travels to the 7, big hop, and a great attempt to save it by Wallace Wright. Actually, it's Brad Smith. But it's a touchback. They'll come out to the 20 with the lead. If you thought the fantasy football season was over, you are wrong. Sign up to NFL.com's playoff challenge. Win a trip, Super Bowl 44 only at NFL.com/fantasy. The pitch to Ricky Williams. Trying to go wide with it. And he chops past one tackler and gets a block by Fasano and gains about 9.
Well, another new play we haven't seen, and I was getting ready to say to you, do you think there's anything else the Miami Dolphins have in that play sheet, that grab bag? And my answer would be, oh, I know they do. They do. And Jim, we heard it from the Jets, and they just said, look, they got this. And not that you call them trick plays. I don't even like the term trick plays, but the Miami Dolphins have tendency breakers, and they have a lot of them.
Second and less than a yard. They pick it up with Cobbs. That was polite. Lusaka Polite picks up the first down, his 3rd carry of the day.
Initial hit there. Chris Jenkins could not get his arms wrapped around him. Haven't heard that name today, but it's not like the Miami Dolphins. You don't go attack the strength of another team. You look for the weaknesses, and that's what you. So the weakness is, or the strength is of that Jet defense. Don't run at Chris Jenkins.
You set it down. Pennington had Ellis on him quickly and throws it over the head of Ted Ginn. You know, this hitting chemistry you talked about with Chad Pennington. They actually had 1 year together. Bill Levy comes in with a little assist on the shoulder pad. 1 year together, rookie year for Pennington here in New York. And Chad loves the fact that Dan sees the game through a quarterback's eyes.
Yeah, really. And, you know, we kind of hear some of that talk sometimes, but he goes, if I even hesitate, Chad Pennington said, hesitate, even to indicate any way that I don't like a play or a thought, off the play sheet right away. Let's move on to something else.
Pennington now over 3,600 yards on the year. The first Dolphin other than Dan Marino to go over 3,500 in a season. And that's Bess about 2 yards shy of a first. So Pennington's day in his return here, he got stripped on this one. Kresnik recovered, led to a Jet touchdown, but then bounced back, hit Ginn for a score. Here in the 3rd, hit Fasano for another touchdown.
You know, I kind of say this when I look at this Miami offense. Dan Henning was retired. He came back when Tony Sperano called him. He must have lost a lot of money playing golf because he had to be thinking of plays he was going to run if he decided to come back and coach the NFL again.
3rd and 2. Can they keep the drive going? No. Kerry Rhodes comes up, makes the stick on Polite. Pennington's roommate in training camp when Pennington was still with New York. Kerry Rhodes making the hit here.
Yeah, diagnoses the play. You said it. They were roommates. Kerry Rhodes said 11 o'clock at night, Chad Pennington would be talking football, and I'd be going like, all right, man, I want to go to bed. I don't care anymore.
Let's see what John Denny can do on the snap here. It's a good one this time, back to Fields. And Washington watches it go over his head, and a Aggressive bounce into the end zone. Favre will come out to the 20. 60-yard boot, 40-yard net. And college football, how about the Sun Bowl and CBS? Together again, Oregon State and Pittsburgh, one of our longest relationships with the network, comes back to CBS again. And New Year's Day, Clemson and Nebraska, the Gator Bowl. College football, the bowl season, we're into it.
How many Sun Bowls did you do?
7.
And how many was Lance Barrow, Mike Arnold with you the whole time too?
Not the whole time. They were there a few times.
7 Sun Bowls.
Always a great time down there with their friends down there to run it. Jimmy Rogers and CBS and that whole team getting together again. And our Craig Silver, our producer of college football, going into the Hall of Fame. We're happy for him. Here is a 1st and 10 play. Leon Washington out to the 22, picks up 2. You know, if you get to this 4th quarter, Phil, one thing Miami's done in its wins this year is they've just managed to just hold on to the football. Time of possession, 7 of their 9 wins, they've held the football for 10 minutes or more.
You know, Jim, they've done so many things. They've won the penalty battle. They don't turn it over. And more importantly, when the game is on the line, most of the time in the 4th quarter late, their offense or their defense has come through to salvage very close victories.
Moving in on a minute to go in the 3rd, and Favre fires it for the 1st down to Chris Baker.
Boy, Brett Favre is taking a lot of hits. Almost every time he throws, he's coming off the ground after getting hit by a defender. But more than any quarterback you'll ever see, he can get his arm away from him. Watch. Kind of hesitates and still able to throw the football down the field and be accurate.
Is it just me, or has he been playing better since he was shaken up? I mean, is it?
Hey, some quarterbacks like to get roughed up a little. Maybe he's one of those.
That was beyond getting roughed up. He's definitely been sharper. Here is Jones for about 3 yards. It came in the 2nd quarter. This is what we're talking about. After he was picked off by Philip Merling.
Watch his right shoulder.
Tried to strip it, reached in there.
Oh, man.
What can go wrong when you land like that for a quarterback?
Well, when I see that, I tore my labrum in 1993 with almost exactly the same kind of motion. And I know a lot of quarterbacks have torn their labrums reaching out, extended it, and falling on it.
Something Chad Pennington had some experience with twice when he was a Jet quarterback. We're through 3. Miami leads it. Back after this message and a word from your local station. Pennington coming back, showing the New York fans what he's been doing all season for Miami. And Favre, and he think this could be the final performance. Do they not make it to the playoffs? And that's looking very dire with Baltimore leading right now 27-7. 2 minutes into the 4th. Here's Favre handing off. They'll need to pick up about 3. Leon Washington on that carry. What about this in Favre in terms of a final performance? What do you think?
Well, what do I think? I think a lot of things. I think Brett Favre, in our lifetime, Jim, is one of the 3 greatest throwers of the football we've ever seen. John Elway, Dan Marino, and him, put them all in the same class. It's incredible the performances they have had on the field. If just me speaking, my opinion, I believe this will be his last game. I have no reason. He didn't tell me nothing. It's just what I think.
They fake the snap to Favre and instead direct to Washington. He's got the 1st down.
That was a nice, clever play. And, of course, Brett Favre loves these. Gets to act out like he missed the snap. But on defense, when you see the running back close to the quarterback, you got to notice that. And I'm sorry I didn't before the snap. Usually I do. That's what you got to be alert for. A lot of teams run that play.
Look at Joey Porter, who told us last night that he felt that Brett Favre was in that retirement mode, and we're going to try to help him get there.
We're going to help him. We're going to hit him and get him into that retirement mode even more.
And Favre, of course, with other intentions. That ball's deflected at the line.
Well, I will say this. The New York Jets have done a very good job with Joey Porter, making sure he is not getting on a running back or a tight end rushing the passer. And that was Vonnie Holliday. High effort, gets his hand up, knocks it down. What do you think? Give me a quick answer about Brett Favre. Do you think he'll come back again next year?
Well, again, the Jets at this point right now, the only way they're going to get extended here if they come back and win this thing is if somehow there's a miraculous comeback by Jacksonville, and I don't think that he would come back if the season ends without a playoff berth.
First time we've ever
Feels good, doesn't it? Here's the head off Thomas Jones. Plus, you got all this surrounding this mystery about how healthy is he really. As you see Joey Porter, who's had just a sensational season, but a quiet game so far today. 17.5 sacks. Top sack man in the conference.
Yeah, well, a lot of attention paid to him, Jim, and they're making sure, and I've noticed a few times, when there's a lineman that doesn't have anybody to block in a passing situation, they're finding a way towards Joey Porter.
Brad Smith now at quarterback. As Favre's line up wide to the right at first. A timeout called by the Jets. Mangini called for it from the sideline.
Eric Mangini called a timeout from the sideline. Here's why. Brett Favre should have been on the line of scrimmage, then shifted back once Turner comes over from the other side. When you line up in a illegal formation to start, even if you shift to a legal one, still a 5-yard penalty.
So he saved the penalty, took the timeout. Third down.
Good call.
3rd and 2 from the Miami 43. Knocked down, incomplete. That's Jeremiah Bell stepping in front of Dustin Keller.
This is, when you talk about this Jet team, to me, this is one of the biggest reasons, or one of the reasons why they went from 8-3 to the situation they're in now. 3rd and short, they were hitting all these passes 4 and 5 weeks ago, and just keeping drives going and going down the score and helping their defense out. Of late, those short passes, the receivers cannot get open.
G. Hodges, look out, he's blocked. Dolphins got a hand on it. It's Cobbs picking it up, and Miami will have the football on the Jets side of the field. Charlie Anderson blocks it.
Could not even tell where he came from, Jim, but oh my gosh, he came to clean it, looks like. Oh, it's a blown assignment by the New York Jets.
Mike Westhoff, the special teams coach.
They had the guys there. They miscounted to one side. They fanned out, and that left a free runner to the punter.
First time Hodges has been blocked this season. He came in early in the year replacing Ben Graham.
They're lucky. They got away with it. The least that could happen. It didn't go backwards. It wasn't picked up and run for a touchdown.
5 wides for Miami. That's over to Cobbs. And he spins out near a first. TV's classic word game is back with a modern twist. You can play along with $1 Million Password. It's tonight on CBS, America's most watched network, with Regis in control, quarterbacking that one. So again, I know some have just joined us, and at stake here, Miami with a win would claim the AFC East and complete one of the most remarkable turnarounds in the history of the league. From a 1-win team, 15 games out of the division last year behind an undefeated New England regular season team, to winning it. If they can close it out here, they got a first with Ricky Williams. Meanwhile, the Jets, it's starting to get desperate for them because they need now, with New England having already won today, the Jets needed to win this one and hope for Baltimore to get defeated by Jacksonville. And Baltimore's 20 up in that one with about 10 minutes to play for them to get a wild card berth. Then there's the New England side of it. New England would win the AFC East if Miami falls to the Jets here at the end. Jets win, New England would be the 3 seed and the AFC East champ.
And I know there's 11 and a half minutes to go in this game, but the Miami Dolphins already managing the clock, trying to take it down.
Yeah, there's movement.
False start. Number
the
57
fact that you could
offense.
go from
5-yard penalty.
1
First out.
15 to 11 and 5. That would be matching history here of the Colts of '99, who increased their win total from 3 to 13 plus 10. One season to the next. That's since 1960.
That's Peyton Manning's rookie year to his second year. So many things have to fall in place for your football team. You got to get the right coaches. You talked about a trade that brought 2 people over. That really helped them, Fasano and Adele. And then Chad Pennington fell in their laps. That's what put it all over the top.
1st and 15. And Ricky Williams trying to brush off the hit, but he's gang tackled and held to no gain. Well, you bring in Pennington, and he told us he had a sense when he got there after the Jets cut him exactly 1 month before the first game of the season. I got a sense, he told us, that it was a young team, but they were hungry. They were starving for leadership.
And the other thing is, once they heard the Brett Favre rumors, they realized they probably would have to be released, cap issues and all that. And Tony Sperano right away said, wow, I started asking questions. Should we go get him? Didn't know if they could because he thought there'd be a lot of teams after Chad Pennington.
2nd down and 15, over to Williams. Pace chasing, so is Abram Elam. And they get about halfway to the first. They got a block thrown on that side by Devon Bess.
Get the football to your playmakers. That's what your job is as a coordinator. I'd say Dan Hennings is doing it. And we talked about it. Ricky Williams, big. When you're big and you run this fast, I wouldn't want to tackle it.
That goes as a rush, not a pass. And it goes for 9 yards, sets up 3rd and 6. Finally, the crowd here coming to life.
Looks like an all-out blitz by the Jets.
Lobbing it over for Bess, and it's incomplete. He tried to adjust, tried to get around the body of Lowry.
Everybody came on the blitz, and it's Bess right down the seam of the field. Dwight Lowry, boy, what a tough job for a defensive back, but good job of finding the football, reacting to it. Nice pickup again by the Miami Dolphins.
Now they'll call on a rookie free agent kicker who beat out Jay Feely. Dan Carpenter out of Montana, 48-yarder. He's missed only once on the road this year, 12 out of 13. This from 48 yards. Carpenter just drills it. Pummeled it. You can hear it from up here. And they're up 7 with 9:20 to go in the game.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Verizon Wireless. And by Michelob Amber Bach.
Well, a block punt set up a Miami field goal, and the Jets are down 7. It's amazing to see how much the crowd has thinned out. This game on the line, no doubt many people just deflated and found out the news that Baltimore is not going to lose that game. And the Jets are not going to find a way, even with a win here, to get into the playoffs, it appears. As Leon Washington does not get the running start. And Jason Allen on the tackle. Well, the NFC playoffs are going to shape up like this. Now, of course, based on who wins and the worst seed will take the number 1 seed, the Giants, on in the division round. So this is not exactly the bracketing, but it's going to be Atlanta at Arizona, Philadelphia at Minnesota. Here, the Jets are down 7 with 9 minutes to play. And a little toss. Thomas Jones for about a yard. And hopes are fading by the second because, again, Jacksonville is not coming up with the performance that the Jets had to have down by way of Baltimore. Favre today 13 of 32, 2 picks, 1 touchdown to Coles. One of his picks was run back for a score. And look at the quarterback rating as Pennington's been making a habit of going over 100 with his rating. I know you're not a big quarterback rating guy, but efficient again. Jones. The flag held to about a 2-yard gain as Roth comes tumbling out.
I'm not always against the quarterback rating, Jim. It does tell you some things. I haven't seen very few quarterbacks have great ratings to play on bad teams. There is an exception this year. Aaron Rodgers, they were not winning, and he was still playing.
Personal foul, face mask. Number 60, offense. Half the distance to the goal.
Face mask.
Repeat second down.
Called on Ferguson. I know one thing, when you take a look at quarterback ratings, you got Chad Pennington second in the league, second in his conference to Rivers.
Yep.
No Pro Bowl.
Well, neither one of them. And, you know, I learned something about the Pro Bowl, not to complain, because honor the ones that are going, don't whine about the ones that are not going. But I've said, how can you not bring Chad Pennington's name into most valuable player? Peyton Manning, Chad Pennington, both. You have to bring them both up, and I can make a case for either one.
If you don't make the play and sign Pennington, you're going to go with either McCown this year, who they ended up cutting, or Henne at quarterback, or Beck. You think they're right now?
Probably Chad Henne is a rookie. Absolutely
you
not.
Think
they not be in this position.
8 minutes away from winning a division. Here is Favre flinging it up ahead to Stuckey, who makes the move to pick up the first. Great piece of breaking tackles and running there by Stuckey. Picks up 26.
Yeah, Ronaldo Hill misses the tackle. If you're going to play a defense where you want to watch the quarterback and you want to come up and make the tackle, look at the extra yards in the Miami Dolphins. If they survive this game, and if is a tough word, they'll work on tackling this week because they have missed a lot of them today.
Stuckey again. And again, he does a good job of splitting the defenders. Picking up about 5. So with Baltimore 4 minutes away from blowing out Jacksonville, you can pretty much now just say it comes down to these two and eliminate any avenue for the Jets to get in. They needed that help. They needed the Jags to come up with a win over the Ravens. So New England watching with tremendous interest here. Well, Belichick watching his disciple, Eric Mangini, hoping the Jets can come back and win it so that they, in turn, would win the AFC East. Jets are playing for the Patriots and all, if you will, at this point. There's Stuckey. 3 straight catches by Stuckey. And there's Hill on the immediate hit this time.
Bill Belichick is definitely not rooting for the New York Jets. He's just not rooting for the Miami Dolphins.
How does that work?
Yeah, he just looks at it from a different perspective.
Okay, I guess. Meanwhile, it's going to mean that the Ravens will be the 6. And next week, they'll be, again, either at Miami or at New England. That's Baker. What a job by John Harbaugh down there with the Ravens, their rookie head coach. Talk about these coaches this year.
Yeah.
These rookie coaches, like this man, Tony Sperano. Mike Smith of Atlanta, Harbaugh, Coach of the Year candidates.
It's going to change the way teams think about hiring coaches. 3 no names. I hate to say it that way. A lot of complaining in all 3 cities when the hire was made. Well, we don't know who it is.
A timeout called by the Dolphins.
Caught with substitutions.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the U.S. Department of Transportation, Over the Limit, Under Arrest, and by Subway, home of the famous Always Made Fresh $5 footlong.
Jim Nantz, Phil Simms, we're back here at Giant Stadium. Chad Pennington and the Dolphins trying to win the AFC East. 6 minutes to go. They win the division with a victory. The Jets can come back and win. They will send New England to the playoffs as the division champion. Here is Favre throwing it over to Leon Washington. 2 Dolphins await, and Crowder is the one who knocks him down. Loss of a yard.
You know, you look at this game, Jim, under 6 minutes to go. The New York Jets have 2 timeouts. They're going to get this possession and 1 more. So what you do here, your decision making and play calling You're thinking about that already. If they pick up 7 or 8 yards, it's 4th and 3, 4, whatever. I believe they'll go for it.
Ball's right at the 50. Need to get inside the 40 to keep the drive going.
Look at this defensive alignment. Everybody to the Jets' left.
Yep. Right side is not manned, and there is the completion to Lavernius Coles. He stepped in front of Andre Goodman, and the Jets keep moving.
What a throw by Brett Favre. Lavernius Coles was covered. He threw it behind him. We've talked about it many times. The receiver makes the adjustment. Goodman doesn't.
Picks up 21, and that was over the head of Stuckey, and Goodman has a second pick.
Tried to snap the ball with too many men on the field by the defense. Were there too many men on the field? They did it earlier. We said it. Miami called a timeout. See the defenders walking around? Oh, no.
They're just repositioning.
Yes, he was trying to take advantage of the fact that they didn't line up properly.
He thought there was confusion across the line.
Yes, that's what it was. I'm wrong. I saw guys on the sideline of Miami thought that they ran somebody off late, but it was just confusion. Brett Favre tried to take advantage of it. Everybody else was not thinking the same way he was.
Third time they have picked the Hall of Famer today, and the snap's coming back to Ronnie Brown. He's going to weave past the line and take off to the 50. Finally hit by Revis. And for those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Dolphins and Jets. Jim Nantz here along with Bill Sims. 24-17. The Dolphins lead it. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately after the game, except on the West Coast. You get the 60 minutes program at its normal time out west. Well, this is what Miami has specialized with all season. Getting the ball back in the fourth quarter and just milking it. Running it down, running it out. That's Brown again. They're picking up chunks now. Running behind Anthony Fasano for 8.
Jim, let's go back. Here's the receiver. Nobody lines up against him. Brett Favre sees it. The defense is shuffling. He tries to make the adjustment. There's a defender between him and Stuckey. It makes the football go high.
Porter.
Oh, Joey Porter right in the way. Wow. Interceptions today, they have been big. These are not ones you go, didn't have any effect on the outcome. They do.
And Ronnie Brown keeps it and runs into a bear hug. Chris Jenkins held to a yard. Next week, the playoffs begin, wild card weekend, and we will be with you next Sunday at either 1 or 4:30 Eastern time. The league has not set up the matchup. Still, of course, waiting for this one to close out and see what happens. But it gets started next Sunday on CBS with the NFL Today. JB and the crew having some fun in the studio next week. Here on CBS. Big snap coming up on 3rd and a yard with 2:44 to go. They've gone to Polite a number of times, the fullback, out of this, and they do again. And boy, at first looked like he would get it, but the spot, as they run in from the side here, I think it'll be a little short.
Yep, inside, tough to go in there. Couldn't tell which Jet was inside that time. I would bet Chris Jenkins is one of the guys.
Jenkins and Barton.
But what they do, they fake the little reverse to Ricky Williams, the little counter move back inside, and the Jets ready for it. Now the big thing is, what do you do?
Yeah.
If you're short, I think they're going to be just short.
What do you do? I mean, you
go for it.
Go for it.
I think you do.
That would basically, of course,
win the game.
Jets have the 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning. That's going to be short. And that's a chain link short.
Well, this is the big moment. Tony Sperano says, I'm learning every week.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any tougher in this call.
What manual do you go to if you're a rookie coach on this call? He's keeping the offense out there.
You know, Jimmy, tough decisions. You can't be afraid. I say that all the time. I learned from a guy that believed in that motto. The opportunity is there. Everything you want, almost like the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game we did.
Interesting. The Jets call a timeout because the clock was going to restart after the measurement. For all intents and purposes, you know, he could have, because of a new down clock, they could have run that thing down to the 2-minute warning. So now they're going to take the timeout at 2:30. One timeout left for the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets decided they wanted to keep that extra time. Since they measured, it would only gone, it's 2:30. The play clock reset at 25, but the Jets, they go, is the timeout worth the 25 seconds? And they said yes, that's why they called it. And not only that, Jim, to go over their plan of attack on the defensive side one more time, because this could be the game. You know, you got a lot of options. What's Miami going to do?
It's final in Baltimore. The Ravens have secured a playoff berth. They are the 6th seed. The Jets are officially eliminated. Now Miami trying to claim the number 3 seed, to claim the AFC East, and they're an inch away perhaps from running it out. 4th and inches. Pennington dives for it and has it.
He got it.
A little chest bump with Joey Porter. You want to make a habit of that.
They got in the same formation from the play before, and they snapped it, timed it right. Good play call.
2-minute warning. Miami 2 minutes away from an unbelievable season. Well, just 2 minutes to go, and the Jets with only one timeout. And Jim Nantz and Phil Simms back here. I don't know, this Miami story, to go from 15 games out of the division lead a year ago to now you're just about on the brink here of winning that same division.
Not only winning, getting a home playoff game. I mean, it's just an incredible story. And you talk about the players, Tony Sparano, the coach, and of course Chad Pennington, the situation he's in, coming back here and winning to clinch everything.
Well, the Jets have just called a timeout, and if the Jets do not get the football back, and again, we talked about this, you do not believe, I don't believe that Brett will be playing again. This would be it. This would be the end of one of the great careers, really, of not only his generation, but in the history of the league. All the records that he holds, most wins, most completions, most yardage. And there's a whole lot of courage thrown in there, too, based on even what we saw here today. But it could end up being his last career pass was an interception. His first career completion, by the way, was to himself. And perhaps his last one was a pick.
You know, a lot has not been said about Brett Favre. All the great years in Green Bay, how we thought of him. But to take the gamble, to come to New York, and this, of course, the media and all that, into a team that won 4 games last year and put it all on the line and come here, and they got close. They got close, but it's going to be a bitter disappointment because at one time, Jim, they were 8-3.
8-3, and they had just defeated the team that was 10-0, handing Tennessee its first loss. But then there was that loss to Denver here, and it all went the other way after that. All of these records, including the interceptions, and this will be his 100th loss today, barring any kind of crazy happening here at the end. 269 consecutive starts. It's almost unimaginable at that position today. You take a Chad Pennington, he's only had 16-game full seasons twice, including this year. It's just hard to stay upright in this league, but he's done it. He managed to do it again today. He took a vicious hit after throwing a pick in the second quarter. That's polite. And then you got the Miami side of it again. It's going to shape up here as Baltimore at Miami. New England's going to be left on the outside looking in as well.
11-5. It's really hard to imagine. 10, we always say 10 is the magic number. If you get the 10, you're going to get in the NFL playoffs. The New England Patriots 11-5 won't make it.
Well, here's a rookie head coach going to take a team to the division title, to the playoffs. On the other sidelines, Eric Mangini. His rookie year, he won 10. He got in to the postseason, wild card berth, went from 10 wins to 4 wins. This is going to be a 9-win season, and people around here with a 1-4 finish are furious.
Sure.
Will he be back?
You're asking the wrong guy, because
I know how the fans feel.
Well, I know.
I know you're going to say, wait a minute, what happened to Schottenheimer? But how do you fire a guy with 9 wins?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Jim,
I don't.
9-7, winning 9 games, the chance to win 10. Whatever you've done and that's hard to do. Sometimes when you try to make that next jump, you go backwards, and it's happened with many franchises, many college teams too.
Here's the lineup tonight on CBS. 60 Minutes, $1 Million Password with Regis, Cold Case, and The Unit. It's coming up shortly here on America's Most Watched Network. Now they're going to be
This is what you do.
Here.
Yep, you punt it. You don't try the field goal. You don't go for it on 4th.
John Denny now, remember, he's been shaky. 2 bad snaps. One really got away from him. And this one flipped back to the punter, who just hits a little knuckleball with no one back deep. And Nathan Jones awaits, and he'll just let it crawl inside the 1. Got David Bowens of the Jets hurt out on the field. You know, 17 seconds away from going back into the playoffs for the Miami Dolphins since the 01 season. The 01 wild card game was against a team they would face next week. Dolphins led it early. Baltimore took over, 20 unanswered. Ravens went on the win at 20-3 down in Miami. So it could be an identical matchup, Baltimore at Miami, and barring the Jets going 99 yards in 17 seconds.
I'm going to go back. I've said this a few times today. We did the opening game of the year. I think we could see that they were a much better team. They had improved. And I'm going back. It's about hard work. Remember, we were staying on the sidelines of the practice on a Friday, and there everybody, some officials for the Miami Dolphins are going, how long is this practice going to go on? And it just, to me, that it says everything about this team. You've talked about it, Joey Porter, how hard they've worked. Everybody works hard in the NFL, but there are a few teams that work harder than the rest.
I remember it was working, against your schedule. And Lance Barrow, you guys were wanting to get down to Joe Stone Crab. And it kept practicing and practicing. Bill Parcells, a lot of people might be asking, you mentioned his name a few times. He is not here, but this is consistent with what he's done all season. Bowens helped off the field. Bill has not made a road trip all year. Back down in South Florida watching.
Well, there's Wayne Huizinga, the owner. And what about him? To go through the misery. Well, you saw the excitement last year when they won their first game, but to go through what they did and turn it around, the league is incredible how you are able to change it over, hire the right people, and get fortunate with a few players as you pick them up to do what they've done.
By the way, Favre is not coming out here. We've got Brad Smith. He's going to take the snap.
Let him run around and try to throw it down the field. That's the reasoning there, Jim.
Last play is being reviewed. That's, again, inside 2 minutes. That's a booth review.
Well, I guess they're going to review it. Did one of the Miami Dolphins, did somebody step on the end zone who touched the football that would put this at the 20-yard line instead of where it is?
I don't think so. Nathan Jones was totally aware of his situation, not even close.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be the 20 if
touched it right there at the 1. I want to check maybe the sidelines here, Phil.
Okay, let's look down at the bottom of the screen. Nobody. Nope.
Again, that's Nathan Jones, who was tangled with Hank Poteet.
Can review it. Let's see. Nobody's touching. Okay. Are they checking to see is it on the 1.5 instead of the 1? I hope not.
First. went out of bounds before
Now
he
Favre
touched the
is in
ball.
fact coming out. They had an interesting thing. They had James Dirth, their long snapper, who was going to, they were in formation. He was going to snap it to Brad Smith. But now it's back to Mangold and Favre's ready to go, but Bill Levy is still under the curtain. Again, you got Denver and San Diego tonight. Just a remarkable finish to the AFC West. He'll try to settle things. They will settle things in San Diego tonight. Indianapolis finishes strong again with a victory today, even though they really set Peyton Manning other than one series. Tennessee and Pittsburgh have a bye. Pittsburgh's going to need it after the concussion suffered by Ben Roethlisberger today. The NFC side is all set. We still have up in the air against San Diego, Denver on the AFC ledger. Atlanta will be at Arizona for the NFC wild card round. Philadelphia at Minnesota. One of the worst losses today in Dallas Cowboys history. Not the one that stings the most. If you go back to the Ice Bowl, you can go to some other situations, the ones that hurt the most. This was just downright demoralizing today.
Number 33, who first touched the punt, never went out of bounds. Therefore, the ruling on the field is correct.
And Nathan Jones, he knew again exactly what he was doing. So the snap will come from the 1. By the way, the Patriots, again, barring anything crazy here, will be the second 11-win team post-merger to miss the playoffs.
Who was the other?
Cleveland. And the Browns fans, I know you're saying Cleveland. Why are you reminding us of that? Back in 1985. Favre to Leon Washington, looking for someone to lateral to, and it's Favre with the football in his hands and a forward lateral, which will end the play anyway. Jeremiah Bell with a shove on the quarterback. A victory bath for Sperano.
I think there's a penalty that would have been Brett Favre was a forward pass, Jim.
No question about it.
So it's going to be a runoff, 10-second runoff. No timeouts left by the Jets.
Game is not over.
And Bill Levy saying the game is not over. Dolphins are ready to hoist their coach on their shoulders.
Illegal forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage. It was not to conserve time. At the distance to the goal.
Okay.
Loss of down, second down.
Brett Favre throws the short pass. Then he gets it thrown back to him, and he gets one more big hit. Wow. And since the football went forward, illegal forward pass.
Brett just trying to get one more attempt in the record category. One more forward pass, 2-on-1 play.
Take one more big hit.
Yeah, he's had enough of those. In fact, that's it. And it is going to be Brad Smith. Miami's got 3 defenders back at the 40. They've got 7 players that are 30 yards off the line of scrimmage. That was almost incomplete. Here's Leon Washington. All the way back over to Lavernius Coles. Little Cal Stanford coming up here. Coles. Brad Smith, the starter of the play. It's Rivas, the cornerback. He keeps it alive to Poteet. And there's Jericho Cotchery. No, he doesn't get the handle. Jones has it, and Miami has won the division for the first time since 2000. Baltimore and Miami. How about this? The only team the Dolphins defeated last year was Baltimore. And those two will meet next week in the wild card round. And there goes the iconic figure of Brett Favre off the field. Now, he's retired a couple of times to come back, but this very possibly is it. Chad Pennington, it doesn't get any sweeter than this. It was the perfect script for him. A team that had no use for him a month before the opening day of the season. He comes back and beats that team with everything on the line to take his team to the title and to the playoffs. Phil Simms, Jim Nance, and the crew saying so long. Miami wins it here.